Hello, everybody, and happy Father's Day to all the wonderful fathers out there, even fathers who hadn't intended to be a father, but they made their, whoops, all right, sorry. For the fathers like Mark, who hadn't set out to be a father, but has done a beautiful job with his stepkids. So, hello. It is Sunday, June 18th. It's bright and sunny here. Let's see who's here because I think I saw BB's here. I'm so excited. There she is, BB Tusi. And I'm not sure how you pronounce your name, but we're so happy you're here. I always say that because I don't want to be glib about not pronouncing someone's name correctly because your name is important. It's important to you and it's important to me. So Marcia, hello, our dear Marcia, BB, Debbie. Oh, this is so good. Cheryl, Betty. I was wondering how many people would get because I thought, well, being Father's Day, they might have plans for the fathers, for the husbands. Meltem is here. Hi, sweetheart. And Meltem had her first Etsy sale. So don't forget Meltem's Etsy shop. We're very happy to promote that. Lisa is here. Jody is here. And I think I said Betty Middleton. I wanted to make sure that I did. So this is so good to see all of you. Welcome. So I've got some fun things to show you. Today, I had to run up to the gas station because Friday I went by my normal gas station. The computer was acting wonky and wasn't allowing me to sign up for a car wash. And where we park our cars on the driveway, in spring and early summer, they will drop some sap, just fine little drops of sap onto the car. And when it gets on the windshield, you can't really get it to come off good with just your windshield wipers. So, yeah, I'm so proud of Meltem. I am so proud. And, so it's so good to see. James is here, James? Or is that Marcia's son? Oh, hi, James. If that's Marcia's son, I'm saying hi. But so I went to a different gas station where I don't normally get gas, and I've never done a car wash there. And so I'm looking in this tiny little screen, and it seemed like all of the computers at the gas stations were wonky that day. But I got my gas, and I typed in to get a car wash, and then nothing came out. And I had been running around doing errands and I was tired and it was getting warm. And I thought, okay, maybe it didn't go through. I went around to the car wash just to see, maybe if I drove in or put my card in there, it would say, oh yeah, we'll do your car wash. We know you just bought gas and paid for the car wash. $12 for a car wash. I don't pay $12 for car wash for nothing. My normal gas station, I get them for $8. But I thought I need a good car wash to get all of this sap off this car. And so anyway, make a long story short, because my stories get so long. When I went around to the car wash, nothing happened, drove in, whatever. So I came on home. I said, I'll check my bank and see if they charge. Maybe they just charged me for the gas. Got home, checked my bank account. Sure enough, they charged me for a $12 car wash. So I went into the gas station yesterday, and there was somebody working behind the counter with her nose in her phone. So when I say working, I say subjectively, and never made eye contact with me. Let me get through my whole spiel and then said, oh, you'll have to see the manager. Well, when is the manager in? Well, she'll be in tomorrow till 10:30, whatever. So I'm thinking, wait a minute. you really, I mean, do I look like somebody who's trying to scam you for a car wash? Came back home, told Mark. He said, hon, if they keep giving you a fit, just write it off. I thought to myself, no way. I'll go to corporate. I'll do whatever. I'm not paying $12 for something I didn't get. So I went back this morning. Lovely manager, a woman of a wonderful age, similar, younger than me, but she apologized up, down, all around. I had brought the thing from my bank account proof, showing the transaction, the amount. Apologized, gave me a thing to do my car wash, and got my car wash. And it actually turns out it's one of those laser car washes. Sometimes I have a minivan, love minivans. I can do anything with a minivan. And the crevices had gotten so full of sap and pollen and just junk. Well, that laser wash, the water was so strong, the water pressure, and it did a great job. So now, between the good manager and a good car wash, I think I'm going to go back. So anyway, that was a long story, but it took up time on my weekend. And then besides that, I did get the backyard is now finished. I went out, I had bought a few more plants, and I got all of that done yesterday and got pine straw put down. And the reason I'm telling you this is because then my daughter texted me and said, I'd like to bring a card and a gift by to Mark for Father's Day. And so she goes, and if you have time, I know you do your show, but I'd love to stay a little while and visit. Yay. And so she said, I'll help you. I said, well, we're just going to be out working in the yard. Well, I'll help you. I'm like, I wrote to her, are you kidding? She goes, no, I'll help you. I was like, whoa. I did my little, I'll call it a mental happy dance, And so she came over. So I ran to the car wash this morning, got that done, came back. She came over and brought my grand dog, Polly, who we love seeing. And we got where I was putting pine straw in this big flower bed. It's where I keep my bird feeder and bird bath. We got the pine straw put down, and all the rest of the plants all planted. And you know what's nice? She did the planting. I laid them out where I wanted them, and she planted them because the soil there is so compact. It kills my hand. So I know I don't give up. No, my money's too precious because that's $12 I could spend on fabric. Speaking of fabric, I'll tell you about that in a minute. And I thought, Carol is here. Hi, beautiful lady. You are going to like Miss Carol. You're going to like our Thursday project. At least I think you will. I gave the wrong person's name. Was it Betty Middleton that gave me the idea for Earth, Wind, and Fire? I was getting confused the other night, but I looked all around and found this and went, oh, would that be great? So I wanted to show you, this is what we're working on Thursday. We're going to turn it into a triptych. Now, that's going to be interesting to look at this and figure, how can you divide this into 3 pieces that enhances the design or makes it more of a standout? So, but we'll talk about that later. But anyway, when I got this, I said, Carol's going to love this. So on the site, I've put this image and a pattern that I drew up. But I went, oh, I got one for Carol. So anyway, so my daughter came over today. Yeah, I was telling you about that. We planted back in there. And I had carpal tunnel surgery 10, 12 years ago, and it's starting to kind of act up a little bit again. So I tried to baby it a little. That's what makes my hand shake sometimes when I'm using the mouse, because the nerve is a little compressed. So I'm trying to be gentle to it. I could go back in for more surgery, but I'm trying, if it gets to that point, I will, because I don't believe in suffering. But right now I try to baby it. And yesterday I was planting a hosta, and oh, my hand hurt so much last night. And I plant great in pots, and that's why I mostly do container planting. It's the ground, the hard ground, that I can't handle anymore. So she planted at least 12 plants in that flower bed. And the thing that was the most beautiful about it is I told her every time I look out there and watch my birds eating and the little chipmunks running around, and I'm going to see those flowers and think of her. So that's really special. So thank you, Becky. It was wonderful. So then after we planted, I thought, okay, I'm still sore from working out there yesterday. It was starting to get warm. And I said, would you like to help me paint my lawn decorations? You know, I used to go every year to dollar store and buy little doohickeys to put out in the yard in my garden. And that's where, you know, I'd say, Mark, what do you think? I had them all hung up and everything and all my big flowers and stuff. And he said, kind of looks a little like a bordello. And I went, perfect. Then it means I'm almost there. So what we did is we took some of the metallic paints that I love, and we sat and chatted while we painted all of the old cute little metal things that I hang out in the garden. So now they have a whole new lease on life. And it was so much fun. We just sat and chatted and talked about everything. So that was nice. So I didn't get some things ready for the show that I had planned to, but I've got still all the good stuff to show you and talk about. So if you notice anything back behind me, I've started putting together the nod to the 19th century block of the week quilt. Yes, I am going to take pictures. I might do a walkthrough video to kind of show you what I've got planned and what we're doing and how much we still have left to do. It always sounds good to have, you know, over an acre of land, but then you get to our age and it runs away with you. So, you know how I normally show you the good and the bad and the ugly? Hi, Kathy. I think what I'll do is take my camera and just kind of walk around and show you this is the yard, and these are our problem spots, and these are the good things, the celebrations, and the still a work in progress. So anyway, I think I will do that. And then I'm going to take a picture of all the things we painted, the cute little frogs and the cute little sunflower metal things and, you know, all that dollar store stuff. And, you know, I was watching on Wednesday, I watched the Textile Talks, which I'm addicted to. And I was watching it. They were talking about the heavy toll that fabric, clothing, fashion takes on the earth, and the growing or the manufacture of different fabrics can use toxic chemicals, can be tough on the earth, depending on what kind of fertilizer, pesticides, all of that. Then they were talking the dyes themselves can be very caustic. So it's something to think about. And so when she was asked questions, well, what do we do? You know, what's the best way? The first thing she said was, use more, use up what you have. Use it until you can't use it anymore. Repurpose it, whatever. She said the worst thing for the earth is when we constantly are buying new clothing and we hardly even use what we've got. So she said, wear it, repair it, convert it to something else. And I had a friend one time who wanted to start a quilt business of taking thrift store clothing or Goodwill clothing or donated clothing, turning it into usable yardage. And I personally, I'm not at that point yet. I'm too busy to take that time. But I thought, yes, use it up. And I'm a big fan of that. And I think all of us are feeling that more because we're trying to use our stash more. Now, Speaking of using our stash more, I did order from, Mary's not here. She's probably busy doing Father's Day with her husband, but I did buy fabric for our Bargello class that we're going to do July 10th through 14th. So I did, because I thought, Mark told me, I love this. I love this. Mark said, hon, why don't you make a complete Bargello, the same one you're going to teach them, and then make one along with them. And that way you're just refreshed. Because I told him, I said, I haven't taught Bargello quilts for 12 years, 14 years. It's been a long time. So I said, that's a great idea. And he said, and just buy new fabric so you know you've got what you need. Well, that's always I don't think he could say anything nicer to me than make sure to buy good fabric. You've got everything you need. So I went on. That's why you recycled. Yes. There's all, even when I'm doing my silly paper beads, I looked at some of those beautiful papers that come in ads and think, to throw this away, it's so sad. And so there's just lots. I love repurposing things, just saying, I think I could turn this into that. And if we can, then that's all good. So, but you're right. There's little things like that just a little tweak here makes a difference. So, what I did is I want to put a border on this, something that ties the whole Bargello together. Normally when I do a Bargello, I don't put a border on it. And so I found a fabric that, oh, Carol, you're going to love the fabric I found. Oh, girlfriend, you're going to love it. And so I found this fabric I liked, and then I chose fabrics that would highlight the focus fabric. At Marshall's Dry Goods, the fabric was between $4.99 a yard and $6.99 a yard. And I'm curious to see when it comes in what it's like, but they carry brand names too. So I have a feeling I'm going to be very excited. And so by the time I got everything that I needed, now you do have to buy a yard. I don't think they let you buy less than a full yard. But even at that, each quilt's going to cost me $40. And that is a bargain. And I'll have fabric left over for other projects. So anyway, I don't know, but there is a mail order. And so if you go online, but that fabric price, I told Mark, that's just unbelievable how good that fabric price is. And backings. Oh my gosh, you can get 108-inch wide backings for $9.99 a yard. That's really good. So just keep that in mind because, I'm on a budget. I have to make my money stretch. It's like as many projects that I start, I can't be just spending but so much money. And quilting is not a cheap hobby. So here is the next row that I'm working on for the nod to the 19th. Now, you might say, well, Deb, how did you decide on your layout? Well, this is my bestest tip I've ever done myself. I have a couple, but this I think is my best. This is what I did. I told y'all Thursday night I was given a hint and said you can put like 5 blocks on the floor and then get over it. I thought, no, there's got to be a better, easier way. Well, with these modern telephones, and it has a better camera than any camera I've ever owned, I thought, I'm going to take individual pictures. Mark's taking a wonderful Father's Day bike ride. So I'm so happy for him. He has worked so hard. Oh, my God. Ladies, I'm going to show, I didn't bring my phone down. But if I can, I'm going to show you a picture of what he did on the side yard so I could have a little vegetable garden. So what a dear heart. He has really worked hard. He grumped a little bit at first, but boy, did he do it. So what I did is I took my phone and I took a picture of each block I had made. And guess what? I thought I made 15. I made 16. So you know how I tell you I don't like the square layout? Guess who's going to have a square layout? Because I can't not put a block on there. So anyway, but I made 16 blocks and here they are. And so what I did is I took a picture, right? Really trying to make sure to center right over the block. Because if you take it from any distance, if it's not directly over the block will be skewed. It'll be more like a rhombus, and you want it to be a perfect square, the best you can do. So I took them on my phone. Then I downloaded them into my word processor program because I'm so comfortable with using that. And then what I did is I cropped them till it was just the block. I straightened them a little if I had to. Then I saved them. And after I got all of them uploaded and edited and saved, then I took and started putting them on to a new word processing page, getting them real close together, and that way making them the same size. Then once I had all 16 on a page and another piece of a page, then I printed them on cardstock. So you will see that they're nice and firm. See that? That's cardstock. You print them on cardstock, and then you cut them apart. And what this allows you to do is, oh, hello, Regal Rose. Yes, it's so nice to see you. So what then I do, and I've got to apologize for these pictures. After I used them to get my layout, I kind of stacked them up. Well, the tape on the back of one started to pull off a little bit of the front of the other. But what you can do then, I put a little roll of tape on the back. Then you can come up and you can start deciding. You can play with layouts. And so I did 4 across, 4 rows down, and I worked and thought, okay, I think this is the best. The reason it's important to do the layout, a block like this is very dark. It reads very solid and dark. And a block like, let me find one of my lightest. A block like this reads very light. And so or even this one. So what I wanted to do is play with them. There are a lot of stars in this quilt. I didn't want all my stars together. I wanted them scattered out. I didn't want all of my dark blocks together. I wanted them scattered out. I like creating a quilt that brings your eye into the quilt and makes you excited to look around and see all of them. And if you have too much of the same thing, your eye usually stops. So I worked and worked and worked. And then I handed it to Mark and said, what do you think of my layout? Can you do anything to improve it? He made 2 major moves of blocks, 2 different settings. So he moved 4 blocks around, and it made a great difference. Then I took my cell phone and took a picture of the final layout. And let me see I don't know if I can recreate too much, but I have a picture to show. This block number 1 went into the first corner. And then, oh boy, I won't remember, but he moved the Jacob's ladder around. Where is the Jacob's ladder? I'm missing a block. It must have fallen off, but I don't see there's my Jacob's ladder. He moved this down. So this one's the first one, then down here was the second. But what we did is we moved them until it felt like a nice flow. And you know what? It's hard to explain. And this is just a piece of foam core board, and it makes it nice to have something you can move them around. But let me show you the picture that here it is. Okay. Whoop. Come on, silly picture. Let me try this again. Okay, bring this up. All right. I'm going to turn the camera and show you the layout. Now, if I wish I had made the pictures lighter, sometimes when you go to print, it'll print them a little dark. So it would have been nice to have them a little lighter, but here is the layout that we decided we liked. And what was nice is I just took my cell phone to the sewing machine. But you see, I started with block number 1. I had the Jacob's ladder up here, and he said, I think I like it better down here. And I forget, there was another one he moved around. But let me show you my thinking. Here is a dark, solid looking block. Here is a dark, solid looking block. Here is a dark, solid. And this one reads a little dark. So it's bouncing these around. Okay. And then take your light ones, the ones that read light, and we wanted to bounce those around. And then we didn't want too many stars. We figured there was 2 stars a row. This is sort of a star. That's a star. This is a star. So we didn't want the stars all ganged up together. And it's funny because when I first started making the blocks, I thought maybe I'll do myself a favor and I'll just, as I sew them, I'll sew them beside each other and not worry about it. Well, I think it would have bothered me, because these are very different blocks. And I think that something would have kind of irritated me. One thing also I like about the placement, I didn't want the seams to line up, because I am putting sashing between the blocks. And so even though they don't touch, there'll be sashing in between. You can kind of follow the seam lines across and see if they match up. And that I didn't want. So see how this block assembly is bigger than this one. They're all a little different. They're not lined up down a row. So you can't compare how these are lined up. You can't compare how these are lined up. So that's the thing. And even with this, that looks like a monkey wrench, the space here is bigger than this space. And that is really nice, because why set yourself up to be disappointed? Now, these 2 down here, they do actually line up. Do you see the space in that star and then the space right here? So what I will do in that case is I will take my sashing and I'll make a mark, because I'll sew it on this one. And then before I sew this on, I'll make a mark on the sashing to show how to line this up, so that this space right here lines up equals this space. But for the most part, none of these line up, which is such a good thing, because see how narrow this space is and how wide that is? Because there's nothing worse than getting your quilt put together and then realizing, oh, your seams across the piece don't line up. That is frustrating. And nobody wants to take it apart if you don't have to. So I'm hoping that gave you a little help. But if you have something where the seams have to match on the other side of the sashing, make marks, lay it out and mark your sashing so that you know exactly where to line everything up. And that'll help. Okay, whoops, let me get this to close. Come on. I don't like it when it doesn't pay attention to me lately. Oh, I'm probably using the wrong thing. It's always operator error. There we go. So did that give you Oh, is Laura here too? And our Mary is here. Yay. So anyway, what I was doing before I came on air is I was pinning the horizontal sashing that goes in between the rows. So as I sew every block together, I put a sashing strip, which is a rail fence. See that? Just 3 things. And then you have to make sure that when you add the horizontal row, that you have room for your cornerstones. And the cornerstones meet over top a vertical sashing. And I'm really loving it. Let me get out of the way good. But I love the accent cornerstones, love a 9 patch. I love the rail fence, the 3-part sashing. And I just love this quilt. I am so, so happy about this quilt. So there'll be 4 of those rows together, and they'll all have sashing, cornerstones, the whole thing. And I can't wait. I love it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Laura. I looked and looked. Oh, I tried. I really tried. But I tell you what, I think the best thing that I do is I go out and look online. I look in Pinterest. I see what people are doing, because there are tons of people out there that have much better ideas than I do. And if I can just take a few minutes and go out and say, what are they working on? What are they doing? And then come back and put it in what I want to do. So in saying that, please remember, anything you work on that I am leading or draw a pattern, make your own changes. Feel free to, because that's what makes it really special and makes it yours. So I appreciate that, and that's good. All right. So, if you're sashing and your cornerstones or your sashing and your blocks don't quite match up, try to figure out which one is a little bigger. And one of these, the rail fence sashing, had gotten a little big. So what I did before I hooked it on is I tapered in the 2 inner seams to kind of bring down the size of that sashing. And then that way it fit, and it's just fine. And nobody will ever know, because it's really hard, especially, I've told you, if you use one sewing machine to do part of it and a different sewing machine to do another part of it, your 1/4-inch seams are probably going to be different. Each machine likes its own 1/4-inch seam or seam. So, here real quick while we're talking about it. All right. This is where I printed these out. These were ideas of what to do for the sashing. And these were the things I really loved. So I love this on point. The only problem with that, you got to figure out those pesky outer triangles. Did I really want to do that? But I love blocks on point. Then do you make half blocks, or do you do what they did and leave a bigger space there? I like that. I don't like half blocks. I always feel like they got interrupted. So it's like, make a block and cut it in half. Oh, no. This is the one I chose. I thought it looked bright and happy. And I'm going to use blue floral that I've used as a center, like that block right there. That's going to be my final outer border. And the nice thing about it, it's got all the colors in it. And that's a nice way to end a quilt, is with something that ties everything together. So, okay, so that's that. And then I showed you what we're working on. And I changed a few things to make this the earth, the wind, and she's going to be the fire. And so I changed a few things so we could get earth, wind, and fire. And then I'm going to make the holes. I'm going to make it. Then I'm going to decide how do I want to divide it in 3 pieces, but I know I do. So we will stay tuned for that. All right. I'm going to show you something, a little something I've been working on, because sometimes in the evening, upstairs, I've been thread painting my beach quilt, and I'll show you pictures of that later. And it's coming along really well. The thread painting you do, and I'm using that mindful thread painting, meaning not just going like this just to cover an area, but trying to work with the shape. What are you working on? So to like if it's something that has movement in it, then make your thread painting go along with that. So I'm taking my time, and that's why, normally I feel like I've got to rush because I've got to show you. I'm learning that I do a better job if I take my time and explain it to you. So, okay. Oh, yes. In fact, yes, Mary is already quilting hers. I love it, love it, love it. It is very, very simply done. Honey, that's wonderful. And have you ever looked at a quilt that had that simple, mindful calm about it? And it was wonderful. There's a place for a busy quilt. There's a place for a calm quilt. And I know which one I'd rather take a nap under, the calm, simple quilt. So never apologize, because your design choices will change for everything you make. Each one, you'll get a feel for it. Some people call that letting the quilt speak to you. And I'm a big believer in that. Okay, I want to show you. So sometimes in the evening, I'm too tired to go sit at the machine, or my hands are too sore to work on much. So what do I do with that time? Because I can't just sit there and watch TV. Like, oh, okay. So let me come down here. Whoops, 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 whoops. Here we go. All right. So my favorite thing lately are my bead making. I am enjoying it. So I talked to you about getting these puffy paints because wondering if I could make it look like lamp work. Lamp work is where you do surface decoration and it stands up from the surface. Now, you're going to have to be patient with me because I'm just learning to do this. And these little bottles really want to squirt that paint on. I'm trying to learn how to gently put the paint on. But when you're squeezing the bottles, it tends to blurp, and, it's tricky. And I thought about putting some paint in a different bottle, but I'm going to waste a lot of it that way because I have some that have a real fine tip. But here's one. It's like learning how to edit, when to pull back. That's all part of what I'm learning. This one is one of my favorites because you can see I finally got a softer hand. And it takes some days to dry, but then they're pretty cool. And then I will take and put the sealer on them. But these are old envelopes. These are just white envelopes I've rolled up into a bead and then decorated. So for me, this one I just did like curved strips of color and then took a skewer and kind of blended them. You see, I just kind of mixed them up there to see what that would do. I really have to work with something a while until I can get something that I think I'm happy with. And this was supposed to be kind of reminiscent of peacock feathers. So I'm just still learning and trying. And here I find that dots and flowers work best for me. Now that might be all. Oh, here's one more that I did. And this was another swirl. I really like this one better. But I just put on like a little curve, different colors, stripes, and then took a skewer and kind of pulled them into each other. Another thing that I'm very excited about is I have one of the big problems in finishing a bead is what do you do to the end to make it look nice and finished? I used to get markers and try to color them the color of the bead. That's a lot of work. So here I used that gold, metallic gold puffy paint that I got, and I put it on this lid and kind of smoothed it evenly. Then I took my bead, after I trimmed my bead, I took it and just rolled it in the puffy paint. And look how it finishes off that bead. I love it. It gives it a nice metallic look, takes away just the look of the just paper. And here is another one. Let me find some of these but I love, this is like an antique gold. And I've got a silver puffy paint coming in the mail. And I'm going to try that on the ends of some of them. But I'm just real pleased. I think it gave it a nice finished look. And I don't know what I'll do for the inside, but since it's going to be strong, I'm not too worried. But I tell you, I've had here's one. I just did dots with the puffy paint. I'm just experimenting. Thank you, Laura. Just experimenting, seeing, how this works. Now, some of them got a little messy, but that's okay. I'm still learning. But here's a white bead with the gold on the ends. So anyway, I just love these. I just look, that's just junk paper, but there's something rather charming about those colors. They would make good toggle buttons. That is very true. And if I were going to make something like a toggle buttons, now paper beads can never be fully washed, but if it's a dry cleaning thing, but I put some sealer down in them if I want them to kind of remain pretty solid. Let me see. Is there anything? But some of these papers just make really cool little beads. So, all right. Well, I just thought I would show you that because that's one thing I had been working on. And these puffy paints are really good. Be prepared to let them dry for like 3 days. So, yeah, I was reading something that said, don't ever wash a paper bead because even if you seal it, eventually it would soften. These are the little decals that I was putting on some of the beads. If I make a white bead and I want it to look like a painted porcelain, these are fingernail decorating decals. So I would cut this out. I would put it in some warm water. When it gets slippery, then I would just slip it off onto the bead and then dry it. And they came out really pretty too. So I got these off of eBay a year and a half ago for like $3, $4. And I have given a bunch to my granddaughter who likes to use them on fingernails. And then I have been using them on some of the beads. This is just minimal spending little stuff that it keeps my hands busy, makes me happy. I don't know what I would do, how I would, I don't know what I'll do with them yet. I'm hoping now, since I'm getting better at finishing them, that maybe I'll just put them in a baggie and sell them on Etsy. But it just, not everything has to have a reason. Sometimes it's just to make me happy. Okay. So I'm going to show you something really quick, and then I'll bring back the camera and show you. So I was looking for a project for us, a Sunday project, because I still have the Zen Safari. I need time to work on that. That's one of those projects you can't, it's a lot of work, but it's fun work. It's not mind numbing work. So I took this picture of a dahlia and I posterized it because Miss Jody taught me that, bless her heart. But it just started looking a little busy for me. So then, whoops, that's for Mark. We'll put that back in the basket. So then what I did is I found a different technique that made it less busy. Yeah, they're doing very good. My one granddaughter just came back from a week at the beach with her best girlfriends and had a wonderful time. And so they're doing very good. The other one's busy working. And I didn't get to go to the one on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, but I definitely was here for this one. But this flower, I like this because which one would you rather work on? That one or this one? So I like this because I'm new to this kind of thing. Miss Jody is our expert. She's given me some great ideas. And so what I've done to it is I've taken a black marker and I've drawn all the lines that I want to highlight. Okay. And the reason I drew it with a black marker is to make them stand out. Now, so then after I did that, I got my light board, and this is a piece of Steam 2. It's just easy for me to work with, okay? And I put it on top of this using the light board, and I traced everything. Now, when I traced it on Steam 2, that's when I numbered, because on that light board, or you can tape it to a window in the daylight, and it works just like a light board. And when you do that, you can see light, medium, dark, whatever. So I did 6 levels of light to dark. So 1 is the lightest, 6 is the darkest. And there's only a couple places where there's a 6. So what I did is I used a pencil. I drew all this out. I think I might use ink next time because the pencil's rubbing a little. Because this isn't going to show. This is on paper that you peel off to use the sticky. But here is my master. Now, anybody that wants to jump in, especially Miss Jody, jump in and help give details, give better clues. Y'all know more about this than me. So, because I'm still learning. So, then I got a piece of fabric that had been from a project that didn't work out because it's all going to be covered. Whoops, let me bring camera back into place. But I've done 2 of the sections. Okay. Now what I'm doing, because it's hard to keep me straight. Now I had a third piece. What did I do? I probably lost it. Yikes. Let me see. I had a third piece that I hadn't ironed down yet. But what I'm doing is I'm cutting out one section, one leaf at a time. Okay? Because I thought I would become totally overwhelmed if I tried to do it any faster than that. So you see right here where these 2 petals, and I also have this petal, and I didn't iron it down yet, so I will find it. It could have fallen on the floor, who knows. But do you see how I just cut it out? So I will show you right now how I do this. And I'm doing them in order because I do them one at a time. And I just take and cut this. And I do it. Wait a minute. Is this a whole petal or not? Let me look at the master again. I'm started from the bottom, which is down here. Okay. I want to make sure. Oops. Is this? This is this one. Okay. Okay, so I was right. I think I was right just cutting this. Yeah, see how it's just this part. All right, so keep your master around because it can be very confusing. All right, just carefully cut it. Now, what I'm finding is I love what Jody taught us, which is use the piece that's got the most skin in the game, as they say. Okay, now this is going to turn this the right way to help me remember. This is going to go here, like that. Yep, just, I'm pretty sure this is how, or it might go. Let me see. And I put arrows saying, this is the top. And okay. Oh, you know what? I'm wondering. Okay, good. This is perfect because I was worried that I would miss that piece that I have mislaid. See how that fits like that? So this is going to come right here, and I'm just going to mark that so I can remember this is the piece I'm working on. So I'll work on one piece at a time. Now, the pieces in this run from a light 2, a light 1, 2, and then 5. So hold on a second. Let me find a couple of those. And that goes here. I see. Okay. Let me bring my fabrics over. And I was showing my daughter this morning. I said, this is why my room stays so messy. Because this is all the stuff. Let me bring you up while I pick out my fabrics. But I said, this is why my room stays so messy. Because I have to pull out all this fabric just to do this one little project. Because I want to get just the right thing. So I need a very pale. This reads good enough. I think I can do that for like 1 and a 2. Or, oh, let me check this one. No, let me see. I don't think I used that one. There are a couple I wanted to cull out of this. And because I just don't need to carry around this much fabric. All right. So these I wanted to take out. I don't need that. Simplify. Because if you do, then you're more likely to enjoy working on it. So that's pretty light. I still think I've got, and I do have some absolute white. I'm trying not to use much in the way of absolute white because I'm trying to get the lights and darks by the actual colors of fabric. Like this is my dark blue, and I use the absolute darkest parts of it for my, because I have found that when you really go for the full spectrum, the lightest light and the darkest dark, it makes it pop. And especially if they come close together. Now, this is a really good 4 and 5. And I say 4 and 5 because it has areas of dark that if it's just a small little piece, see how I've kind of cut little nips out of it? Because I wanted a darker piece, but then it's got the next lighter one too. And the nice thing about using a fabric like that, you know you're in the same family of blues. So, all right, now I'm starting on the bottom first because it is a great, here's my other. This might be a better number 1. So let me see. I'm going to let you decide which one reads the lightest. I'm thinking this. What do you think? Builds peaches on parchment paper before putting it on the background fabric. Yeah, that's a great idea. Using your Steam as a placement guide is a great idea. I trace my patterns onto golden thread paper for placement. Very good. Very good. And I just thought, I don't know how to keep them straight if I start cutting them all apart. So I thought, just take it slow and do one petal at a time. But I'm thinking they're very similar. I'm thinking of using the lightest part of some of this. But now you see why in the world I have to pick so many things. So, but you just never are sure exactly what shade. I love fabrics like this. Boy, does this make it easy. I've even got green on it. I was thinking I had to remember to get green when I was down here, but it's got green on it. So, okay. All right, I think I know what my fabrics. I'm going to go with this, and the lightest part of some of this. And I think that's all I need for this one right now. Put these back in here, get them out of the way. Now, when I sit up, upstairs, I have a lap desk. And, whoops, I don't know what that was about. Upstairs, I have a lap desk. And that really helps me when I can sit with my feet up and watching TV with Mark. But what do you do when you need to iron something? Well, that's where this comes in handy. This is a wonderful, I bought this years ago, have hardly used it, but when you need it, it comes in very handy. And this is I'm trying to think of the name of the company. I thought it was kind of a clover, but it's one of the mini irons. And this, I can sit. I got this on a free giveaway table from a retreat. And look at that. So now I can safely put it there. Yeah. Oh, bye, Betty, sweetheart. All right. Bye-bye, hon. And, but anyway, so now what I'm going to do while we're sitting here, I'm going to show you what I do, how I do this petal. Please, you think it's clover too? Yes, because I have a bag, might be upstairs, that puts it in. I'm pretty sure it's clover. But Jody, feel free to give advice to me and the group, because you are so good at this. And who was saying they've taken classes too? I've seen them where they build them on parchment. I've seen that. I just don't have any parchment. All right. So what I was doing is mostly the piece is going to be a 5. Okay. So I'm going to come in first and I'm going to cut a 5. And I think that 5 is going to, now let me think. Hold on a second. Yeah, I think, let me check what the background numbers were for those. 4s and 5s. Let me see. I think that I'm going to place this right here. And let me tell you what I'm going to do, because I realized that if I use this whole piece and fuse it to this whole piece, whoops, and you know what I just realized? You really should cut it out that way, upside down. And I'll tell you why in a moment. Because, okay, when you use Steam too, you have to mirror the image. Because what I'm going to do is come and take off this outer layer and put it underneath. Whoops, I'm not on camera. I'm going to take, okay, I try to cut the fabric out on the back or turn this over to cut the fabric out, because I'm going to end up taking off this top paper and then putting the sticky part under here. So that's why, I just had it, there we go. So that's why you have to mirror it, okay? Because this paper has to stay on till the last minute until I put it on place. Yeah, that's true. You could build it on Teflon. So I take this, and what I'm going to do now is, and please give hints, and I mean it, Miss Jody, because you are so good at this. And I'm trying to find my way. I'm kind of a self-taught person, but I want y'all to have the best information. So just remember that a Teflon sheet or parchment paper, that's a great idea. And I would have to find some first. But what you would do is you're trying to stick it on something that does not stay stuck. Now, you know what? If you didn't have parchment, if you've ever peeled off the paper on fusible, the paper that you peel off is a non-stick. So maybe you could build it on those too. All right, so what I have now is I have the shape of this piece, okay? Now, normally I would say go ahead and peel off this, stick it on the back of that, and you're ready to go. But there's another problem. Here are my little shapes. Now, I don't know what this line is. Let me peek at this real quickly. Oh, here's the master. All right. So this, oh, goes right here. Okay, what is, oh, look at that. It goes all the way around. So I didn't draw it properly. So I've got to come around this way. And so if this background is a 5, then this is a 4. See how it's lighter right there? And this lighter, these lighter spaces, that's even lighter still. So what I'm going to do now is where I have this pattern, there are all these edges that aren't used. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to draw the little pieces. I was trying to think of how to do this, but I'm going to draw this. That's the piece that's right, goes right here. And then I need this one. And that one, I'm going to just do, let me turn it around so I can do it from the edge. And so this one goes like this. All right, so this is 1, this is 2. Then I need to get this piece. Now I can always just put this on top and draw it that way. All right, so this is going to go on as piece number 4. But feel free to tell them you trace it on both sides of steam machine pat and good. That's very good. Okay. Thank you for, because this is too important. I want to give people the best information, let them decide, exactly the best thing that works best for them. And since I don't have all of that, I really do depend on y'all to help. So thank you so much. I've always said this channel is a collaborative effort. It is not just one person. And let me see. The yellow was on the back, so I need to peel off this. Now, to get, okay, good. The sticky is already on the yellow side, so that's perfect. Then I'm going to come in here. Now, this has got to be lighter. So I'm going to come in here and find something. There we go. I've already used that as a number 4. So this one right here is the one I want. Okay. So that, yep, because it is, see how it is lighter than this one. Okay. So now I'm going to take and put this on the bottom. Okay. Because it's mirror imaged. Now I'm going to go and press it real quickly. And I can press it right here with my little pressing thing. But this is, I can sit on the couch I mean, being careful. If this thing were to slide, it would burn you. But being careful, I can sit on the couch and work on this on my lap desk. Okay, then I cut this out, trying to be reasonably careful, but you know what? Nobody's going to know but you. So don't let being trying to be perfect ruin your fun. My daughter and I were talking about that today. It's like we are our own harshest critic, aren't we, in this life? And we shouldn't be. We need to celebrate us. All right, so here is my piece number 4. Now I'll carefully take off the paper backing, and I feel to make sure there's no sticky left on the paper, and there isn't. So now I take this piece and I'm going to put, here's the paper. So all right there. I'm going to put this right here like that. And then I'm going to go press that, or I'll press it right back here. Because this little thing, as long as you don't iron on a surface that's really meltable, you can just iron it on a piece of fabric on your, whatever your space is, as long as you're not highly meltable, because it doesn't take that long. So now I have the 5 all the way around here. I have the 4. Now I'm going to take these tiny little itty bitty pieces. This is where it can get kind of tricky, but I just go, you know what? It's all okay. Just take your time. I mean, we used to cut out paper dolls, so it's kind of, it's reminiscent of paper dolls. Remember that? We would get a book that had the paper doll in it, and you had to cut it out. And then cut out all of her clothes and fold the little tabs to try to hold the clothes on her. We loved that. I mean, it couldn't have gotten more simple, but we loved it. So just think of that when you do this. All right, so here are these. All right, and save your bigger piece, because there are lots of times when you're going to need the little bits. All right, so this is the color number 2. Let's see, I'm going to use this as my color 2. Okay, so now let me, oops, and since this is a solid, it doesn't matter what side of the fabric I put it on. So if I can get the paper off and see where the sticky is, there we go. Then I'm just going to lay this right here. And I lay it near the edge because I don't like to waste fabric. Okay. This piece of fabric I've probably had for 30 years. It came in handy finally. All right. So now I'm just going to quickly cut this. So it's kind of a little finicky thing, but it's not rocket science. It's not paying bills or balancing the checkbook. It's simple, and I find enjoyable just because you're just relaxing. Keep your trash parts picked up, because you don't want to throw away something that you need, since you're dealing with finicky little pieces. All right, I'm trying to get that paper off. Sometimes you can just take and stretch the fabric just enough that it'll get that paper to release or tear. And here we go. Yep, no sticky left on the paper. Good. So that means I did iron it down well. All right. Now this goes, here is this piece, and this one goes right here. Okay, and you can just double check to make sure that it's lined up, and then get your iron, and there. Then I have this one piece this little tiny piece here, and I'm going to find a very pale area to be my number one. There's a good snippet right here. So now I'm going to put these back in the container for right now. I try to stay very organized because if I don't, watch out. Okay. I think this is the other side is the brightest side. So I'm going to peel off the paper here. Make sure where the sticky is. I'm going to put it on the underneath so that then when I cut it, I'll have the other side to put down. And this is tricky to try to see where, cutting around these. I find that if I've got an OurTimeToQuilt, I'll bring it next to my chair. And in fact, I'm going to iron. Let me press this down real quick because you're trying to cut it and it's wibble wobbling. So just press it down and then. So this is kind of, it's an interesting project. It's kind of like making a puzzle. Okay, and I've got to do a little come in and out here. And you might not get the piece cut perfectly. It's a little tricky to try to get that cut. Now get the paper off and then I can put it down. This is where I wish, it'll be fun when we do our Bargello class, because then we'll be able to talk to each other and I can hear what you're saying. All right, so this piece, let me make a little bit more of an indentation here and a little bit more of a rounded place here. Okay, so now I'm going to lay this right where it shows on the first piece. Okay, then I'm going to come and press it down. Now I can take the paper off of this, the top paper off, making sure the sticky, stays on the bottom. And then I'm going to come and iron it to this piece. Whoops. Get it lined up right. Otherwise, you'll have sticky on your iron or sticky on the surface. So get it lined up right. Then come give it a good firm pressing. You want the glue to melt, but not too much. If you over iron fusible, it will come off the paper and go completely into the fabric and you won't have a stick. So don't overdo it. That's one of those things. And how do I know this? Because I've done it. Okay, now I'm going to come in here. And I'm looking at what pieces I've already done. This one goes here. This one is here. So this one, hold up, let me get it right. Hold on. Take the time to get it right. Okay, this goes like this. So, right like that. Okay, so now that I've placed it correctly, it was nice to have this because I can then, place it here, see exactly how does it fit with this one here, and put it right the same way. And then I will come over. Now, some people don't always iron them right down, but I'm just afraid that I've already misplaced that one piece. If I don't do it this way, I will get myself confused. Now I'm going to turn this off and unplug that. But I'm hoping that helped you. Okay. I'm hoping this is just my little way I've figured out. I will go back and watch this after today's show and get some great advice from some of you, because collectively we make a really good team. And that is very important to me. Now I'm going to take all these little pieces, get rid of it. Otherwise, you might end up throwing away something valuable. But now I will get ready. So here's what I've got so far. This is the bottom of this flower. And when you stop and think, oh, this doesn't have any sticky under it. So what I will do for now, oh, my hands are so sore. It's arthritis is not fun. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I've got one of my, I'll just use some of this. All right. Come on. I was hoping this was upside down enough. I have to wait for it to come all the way from the bottom. Let me see if that will hold. Okay. Let's see, is this open? It's not even open yet. This is a new one. It's so cute. A little new one. All right, here we go. I see some right there. Aha. So press it. Because that's one thing about this tacky glue. Now, some of you might have said, how many tacky glue containers did she have in that drawer? And I like to come and take an iron and just kind of make sure it helps it dry a little faster. All right. So now I'm going to get this out of the way so I don't want to burn myself. Put this out of the way. Okay. Let me bring this back up, because we'll go and look at show and tell. And then when I come back, but look at all the, do you see already? You're going to, but you also, I think I am, for some of the white ones in the center, I am going to use some pure white, because the fabrics that are 1 and 2, yes, they're light, but I think I need something to really be the exact opposite of this one. But it's coming together. I keep all of my copies together here. And fabrics. And what I'm going to try to do is narrow down the best I can the fabrics. And instead of bringing this whole bucket with me everywhere, I may cut off a piece about that big, because bringing this basket down today with all this stuff in it, it was heavy. And I try to do that because I want to keep up my bone density. And so weight bearing exercise is very good for bone density. Although if you've lost too much, it might cause some problems. So be careful. You know what? I lost a chat again. What button did I push? Darn it. I've been getting careless because I've been doing so good, not having a problem. This is not what I needed to do. What did I do? Not that one. Darn it. Well, we're getting pretty close to the end of the show, so I am sorry I can't see you're chatting, but all right. I don't know how to add it back, but I'll tell you what I will do. I will go ahead and do show and tell, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to work on. Here are all of my sashing strips and all of my 9-patch that I use as my cornerstones. So that's what I'll be working on this week. I'll have all of that put together. And as soon as my beach quilt gets fully thread painted, I'm going to do a quick quilting of it. Then I'll be able to put this on the frame. And I'm absolutely loving this. So thank you to Three Sisters Fabric for some gorgeous fabric. And thank you to all the people who put their patterns out there on their blogs for free. And I was able to go and pick. I typed in French General and found a wealth, because this reminds me of French General fabric, found a wealth of block information. All right, let's go to show and tell. I'll turn off these lights. And I need to find out what in the world do I touch on that mouse that makes the chat disappear. It makes me sad. But now, what if I push this edit button? Oh, all right. So I'm going to go to show and tell. Let's bring you around. Okay. Want to make sure I try to get lined up a little straight. All right. So here we go. Let's go see pictures. I know we got some really cute pictures from Melanie. It was her pups. It was her pup's birthday. Well, let's just start with Melanie today. Whoop, nope, no, evidently I went back to the beginning. Okay, we'll come to Melanie. Is there anything beach landscape? I'm wondering is it in here? Okay, here are the pictures from the beach landscape. It's on the frame. I was showing people on Thursday how by using a light fabric around the edge of the footprinted sand, I gave a little more sparkle. I added a lighter shade in the footprint so it didn't look too obvious. Then the part of it I'm really happy with is my fencing, my dune fencing. And I'm really, really, really happy with that. And actually, my dune grasses. The dune grasses aren't as green as you would think, at least not from the photos I've been seeing. Here's another view of the dune grasses, adding the different colors in there to give it sparkle, as well as a note of realism. Here's another picture of the dune fencing and the different stitching, the different colors of stitching that give it more realism. Here are the footprints in the sand, and just showing the 3 different colors, plus what was painted onto the fabric and printed onto the fabric originally. Then here is my seagull over there, and I've just started on this side. I did a little highlight where he's standing, a little work on him, starting to highlight the tops over here, because only where the sunrise is showing do I want to show highlights. Then I did some stitching further down the sandy shore. That way, trying to give the sand a little movement and feeling. Blurry and pretty blurry. I was waiting up. It's not going to focus. And what in the world? Was that you, Grommy? I think that was Grommy. Okay. I heard a noise and it kind of scared me. All right, so that is the stage that the beach landscape, and it's just going to take me time. That's just all there is to it. It's going to take me time. All right. And I'm learning to try not to be so frantic about it. All right. And this is our last week of showing you Alberta's wonderful granddaughter graduation quilt. Is that just beautiful? And I love how she has a geometric design, but then she uses a soft and flowy quilting pattern. That's always one of the things that I look forward to, is juxtapositioning the straight geometric lines with nice soft quilting. Seems to really benefit the quilt. Here on the back, you'll get a chance to see the soft petals, the loops, the nice, beautiful quilting, and her amazing pie that, oh, makes me really want an apple pie tonight. So thank you, Miss Alberta. We would love any more that you want to share with us. And we love show and tell. We love the ideas. Let me see if I have a picture of the Bargello pattern that we're going to use, because I have chosen the pattern. It might be this one. Nope, not that one. Because I like collecting ideas, but where is it? Well, I don't see it right here, so I probably shouldn't show you anyway, because I want to get us to focus on choosing the fabric first and then choosing the sewing. So I will, what is this one? No. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Okay. Now I'll go back to our pictures, and I will find it. I've already printed it out, and I'm going to use it to develop instructions on materials needed, supplies that were helpful. This is from Betty. Beautiful work. She did this in a class she took, and I love this. Beautiful work. Okay. And Miss Betty has had, some little skin things dealt with on her face, and I think she was feeling a little sad about it. But she's such a beautiful woman. I told her that's part of life, and she's beautiful inside and out. All right. I'm so glad I left these on. This is Miss BB's work. It is gorgeous. And doesn't it have an exotic and sophisticated flair? I just love it. And her wonderful, we're going to do one of these this summer coming up, stained glass quilt. And we have a pretty easy way that we'll do it. All right. So thank you, Miss BB. Now, where are we going now? Miss Bonnie pulled out her sewing machine, which means she's feeling good and seeing well. And we love Miss Bonnie. So there we go. In fact, her birthday's coming up next month. Her birthday will probably be 3 weeks, something like that. So we'll have to wish Miss Bonnie a happy birthday. Miss Brenda was having trouble getting in on our site, so I deleted her off and sent her a new invitation. Sometimes when you can't get on our Groups IO site, or everything seems messed up, it's better to just start over again. And I love this. It looks like she's using a pattern that fits all together. And I love watching her work. And there's Miss Brenda. Oh, it's an elephant. Oh, how cool. And don't forget, Miss Brenda has a shop. So, oh, look at that elephant. That is lovely. It looks like she is doing her Zen safari. And then, oh, I can't wait to see this. She's doing what we're doing right now, that making a pattern. and then putting your fabrics on. In fact, doesn't it look like she's using parchment? It really does. So, and then here is her inspiration piece for this. And that is lovely, just wonderful. Thank you, Miss Brenda. And I hope we get her right back on that group SIO site right away. All right, next. I don't think, whoops, I don't think I have all that much. Let me go back and see. I don't even remember what folder I was using. Oh, here are the flower picks. Whoop, not that one. Here is the original flower pick, and it it doesn't show as accurate on the camera, but this is a pinky purple. And I just thought all of this was so pretty with the yellow, with the green. Oh, so pretty. So I can't wait to keep working on this. And I did put the pattern on our site for this and for the um the triptych new quilt we're working on. And so here is where I took the flower and posterized it. And actually, this one's not that bad. Hold on. Maybe it was a different one. But I said, please get, I need something less busy. Let's see. And so this is nope, that was too unbusy. I guess this was the one I went with then. So, yeah, this is the one I went with, and it's less busy. So when you try to do something like this, Jody said you don't have to be as busy as the first one, shows. You can edit out some of this because it can get too much. And if it's too tortured, I don't think you'll enjoy it. Okay, so that's the flower we're working on. Oh, whoops, I closed my whole self out of here. I think, showing you lamp work beads. Here are lamp work beads. They're glass beads that then they take these little tiny rods of glass and they melt them onto the original bead. So let me just show you a few parts of this. Come on, let me close this down. Oh, well, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, nope, didn't mean to do that either. Let me close that out. That's a cute little penguin. I think he's getting ready for summer. Okay, let me go back to... All right, so let me show you. Where is the one I first saw? I thought I'd saved it, but it's where you take a bead and you put things on it. Well, okay. And to do this with glass, here is a really good example. These are the little gold and silver, that's glass, little beads of hot glass. And to do this kind of work, you have to have an annealer, which is an oven that lets a bead slowly cool down so it doesn't crack. But this is all where they've got a powerful torch and they melt the glass just to it adheres, this stuff right here too. And I just think that is just gorgeous. So I went online and looked up what are lampwork beads and to get more ideas. All right. Now, sorry about that screen. Let me get back to... here's a cute little thing you can probably see even easier. These are lampwork beads. Isn't that cute? And they just take all different kinds of glass to melt it on the original glass bead. Right? Now, I got to go back. All right. I'm interested in so many things. I don't know how long my life would have to be to get me to see everything I wanted. All right, here we go. These are the pictures I showed last week, but I love them. And this is my granddaughter down here who graduated, and she did her fingernails in style. And there's her class, and she's right there. So that's that. She and I. Oh, I forgot. I didn't mean to go by so fast. This is my grandson, Evan. He was in the high school band that played for the graduation. And my daughter, both my daughters spent time together and built wonderful plant stands. Love it. And this is my granddaughter up in Eastern Shore, Maryland. There she is. This was the fire smoke from the. In fact, if Robin comes in today, please find out for me how she's doing. This is my granddaughter here in front of the big sign. I love that they do those signs. It's nice for taking pictures. This is my favorite picture ever of this granddaughter, Charlie. She just looks like she's got the world by the tail. And I love that look. And I hope her life is just as wonderful as it can possibly be. So those are my pictures there. Let me see. Oh, yes. Here is my daughter with her two children. My daughter Becky, and then Charlie and Evan. I love that picture. And then my two daughters, because she was in town, my two daughters took the kids out for breakfast. I love those pictures. This is my daughter's dollhouse she's working on. My granddaughter graduating. Let me come down here. I think that, oh, and my grandson doesn't know it yet, but I ordered him a miniature magic shop, a Harry Potter style magic shop house. And he's going to get it. His birthday is coming up very soon, and he's going to get it to work on. So it came in so fast. I was shocked. Okay. We've got, oh, I'm going to need to get some new pictures from Miss Debbie. And feel free to pull out the quilts you've made. Take pictures to show us because we love seeing them. So I love all of these quilts for her. Thank you, Miss Debbie. And we're going to get some new pictures very soon. Miss Dolores. Oh my gosh. Her llama or alpaca. I always forget which one they are. That is amazing. It has actual alpaca fur on the ears and the chin, and it has the filing thread, the thread that you can use and then use a stiff metal brush it so that it looks like true fur. Amazing, amazing. I love this. So she said that she's probably not going to sell that one. I have to get a hold of her and find out how her art show went. She had a shingles type, one of the series of shingles that you can get, and she unfortunately had that. And I think her husband was trying to hold down the fort with her art show. She was the featured artist. So I'll have to find out how she did. Okay. Lisa. Oh, I love these pictures. Love, love, love it. I knew Lisa and I would hit it off because look, she's a camper just like me. We love getting away from it, out into nature. Look at this. What fun. Sewing out in the fresh air. There's our Miss Lisa. And I love her blocks. These are her nod to the 18th century 19th century blocks. This is a picture her son took of the moon, showing that the pollution from the fires up in Canada. We sure do hope our Canadian friends are in good shape. Here is another block. I just love all of these. It's just eye candy. Love it, love it, love it. Aren't they amazing? So she's been very busy. Those are wonderful. Now we're going to go to Miss Mary. Just show a couple little pictures of her gardening. We've seen most of these, but they're cute. And her blocks, I love her blocks. And then she has a king's coronation quilt. Love it. So when we come back, she will have, well, it won't be long that she'll have her quilted quilt all done. But I love that. And I will take some pictures at least, or try to do a video of my garden, because I love seeing pictures of your garden. Maria sent this week. She is working on this as her pillow, and she was having some problems with it wanting to bunch up as she did the thread painting. That is such a common problem. But I said, go as heavy with the interfacing as you can, or do a couple layers of interfacing to give it the stability. I see a kitty in the window, but to give it the stability so that it won't bunch up as you're sewing on it. So that's my very best advice. To keep something, you can put something in a hoop if you can get the hoop under your needle, and that'll hold it still. But some of the interfacings can be as thick as cardstock, and they work very well. All right, so thank you, Maria, for sending in that picture. Then here we go, Miss Melanie. She's had a busy couple of weeks. Now, please be thinking of our Miss Melanie. She's having a shoulder replacement done. I told her that when I went to my March retreat, one of the ladies had just had a shoulder replacement 6 weeks before, and there she was. She said she feels so much better without all the pain. So we wish Miss Melanie a very smooth and easy shoulder replacement. Luckily, they don't have to do a very big incision. I tell you what, medicine has come so far. We are thankful too. But look at her wonderful fabrics. For her nod to the 19th century, just lovely. I would love to raid her stash, I tell you. Isn't it beautiful? And then, oh, here's her little Willow. This is Willow at the end of her birthday, when she had had plenty of partying and excitement, and she was worn out. Then Miss Melanie has her quilt all quilted and on the bed, and it is lovely. We saw pictures of this when she was making it, and that is just wonderful. I don't know if she quilted it herself or whether she quilted by check, but that either way, it's beautiful. And here's another one of her nod blocks. Another nod block. Love the butterflies. Then here is Let's Party. It's for Willow's birthday party. I love this. And look at this Miss Willow. Is that the cutest thing? Oh my gosh. What a dear, dear little dog. So you can tell they are crazy about their Willow. And there is her special doggy cake. Isn't that cute? I love it. All right. Now, I think that was it for Miss Melanie, but thank you, Miss Melanie, for sending those pictures. You can either send them to me to my email at OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com, or you can put them on the website, and I go on the website and check to see how they're, if there are any photos there. So I'll show you just a couple more pictures of Miss Melton's wonderful totes and bags. And to tell you, you can find these. Look at her craftsmanship is beyond compare. You can find these on Etsy to purchase. So I'm real tickled. I feel like she's on her way. She's got a very good product, very creative. Love her to bits. And here we go. Let me see. No, I don't think we have anything new from Miss Nancy Lynn, but we love her stuff. And I'm trying to remember if it was Diana J that's having surgery. So I am so sorry that I know someone's having surgery, but I don't know who, and I apologize. All right, here we go with Miss Polly. Look at this exquisite paper piecing. No, actually, English paper piecing that she's been working on. And she doesn't seem like a new quilter to me. No, she doesn't. She's amazing. So I love this. Look at her weaving. These are coffee mug rugs, pardon me. So I don't drink coffee. I don't like the taste, but I love the smell. But that's why mug rug, huh? But I guess if I ever start drinking tea, then I will have use for a mug rug too. Look at this. She is brand new to all this stuff, but it sure doesn't look brand new. And this is going to be a table runner for her dining room table. Very beautiful work. I'll have to ask her if she enjoys it as much as she thought she might, because she is doing splendid work. So, I tell you what, life is fun when you can just figure out what it is that you want to spend your time on. It doesn't get much better than that. All right, and our last person of today is Miss SJ from England. Look at her beautiful. These are some of her gorgeous cross stitch works. Y'all who do this cross stitch, I bow to your patience and your expertise. These are so beautiful. It's not in me, but I tell you what, do I love your work? Just beautiful. And there are tons of what are they called? Something floss tube shows that are just precious. So it's very popular. And here is her best friend doggy. And I've forgotten his. I think Rocket. No, I might have forgotten his name. But isn't that the cutest? And her last beautiful portrait. That is just amazing. So thank you, SJ. I appreciate it because we love having these photos so that we can inspire you, that we can showcase the beautiful and talented work of our members and hopefully inspire you to get back into whatever that special thing that makes your heart happy. So I love it. Now let me come back to y'all, although I won't be able to see the chat. And whoops, there was some lampwork beads there. So I'm back to my page. I can't see what you're saying, but I'll go ahead and close this out. I'm going to get this nod quilt done, I promise. It's hard when I'm spending days outside in the garden, and the garden doesn't wait. You know, quilting can kind of hold on here, but if I don't get this stuff in the ground, and like today, I think it's supposed to be upper 80s, and if it's going to be hot, I can't get out in the yard. So, but I can sew. So, I'm going to have some point this week the yardage requirements for the Bargello quilt and some brief pre-instructions so that you can take your time and prepare for the class that's going to be July 10th through the 14th. You don't have to pay. It's all free. It's just for fun. You don't have to even be a member of our free groups IO. Just let me know. Take and let me see if Oh, no, don't do that. Push cancel. Okay, step away from the keyboard. But you just have to send me an email at OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com, and I'll put you on the list when we start our live classroom. Okay, so I'll be able to put you on a list to get the pre-information leading up and the fabric requirements and what tools, like a 6x24 ruler. If you've got one, use it. If not, figure out what can I use. A good old-fashioned yardstick would work. A good heavy wooden yardstick that you won't cut your hand on. So I will have a materials list, a supply list, price and pre-cutting in case you're not getting, you can use a jelly roll or you can pre-cut your fabric. So I'll get you all that information within the next week because I don't want this to stress you. I want it to be just fun. Well, thank you for everything. Thank you for spending time with me. Oh, wait a minute. Did I take? Oh, here it is. I almost forgot to show you my favoriteest thing. I won't let myself play with it until I get this nod quilt put together. But I ordered this one right here. I ordered this from Amazon. I told Mark, I'm not going to get any more until Christmas. And he rolled his eyes like, but I don't want to get crazy. I got other things to do too. But I can't wait. And I'm going to film myself making this to kind of show you what does it really take to do. And these are the miniature dollhouse kits that I can't get enough of. I absolutely love them. So my daughter said her and her son are going to work on theirs together. And she just wants to get him off the screen sometimes and spend time with them. So this past week, since Charlie was at the beach with her friends, she had time with that precious alone time with her Evan. They went kayaking. They went to an arcade kind of place. She named the name, but none of that means anything to me because I don't go into arcades. But anyway, they had a wonderful week together, and I'm so proud of her. So I think that's about it. I will take pictures of the garden to show you. And I'm going to put in some green beans and I'm going to get some seeds in the ground. I can't wait. So thank you for spending this time with me. Do something good just for you. And I think I'm going to find a movie to go see this week. Wouldn't that be nice? So, tomorrow is Juneteenth. I want to give a shout out. I'm so happy that's become a national holiday. And it's time to get the recognition it deserves. And for those of you who might not know, the emancipation came, but the word didn't reach Texas until much later. And so that's where it was Juneteenth became a holiday, and I love it. And don't forget that my sign right there, we're celebrating Pride Month all month long. And this is a great, big, beautiful world, and there's so many amazing people in it. So enjoy that. Turn off some of the clutter from television, from whatever, and just take a beautiful moment during your short time here on this big blue marble. Y'all are the best. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you Thursday night and next Sunday again. Bye-bye, everybody. Mwah.